rescheduled. So excited to speak for
Yeah.
you, man.
Yeah. So Rishabh, thank you so much to have you here on the podcast. Okay, this is my first podcast. Okay, with you, and so we are trying to understand your journey and how you have started as a sales representative in Splash Math, and you have switched to Udemy. After the Udemy, you went to O'Reilly, correct? So
Yes.
in O'Reilly, you are working as an account executive, correct? So
Yeah.
how you manage your journey and what we can learn from you? You can choose both the languages, okay, Hindi as well as English, okay. So you can choose both them, okay. Thank
Sure,
you.
sure. Thanks, buddy. So yeah, Jagveer, I think we started as the same college mates back in 2018, and I'm glad that we were able to share the same education together, basically from LPU. So I'm glad. In fact, I wanted to share more about how we transition into a student to being a full-time employee. Frankly speaking, it was back then, 2018 to 19, when I joined StudyPad. Which they had their own product called Splash Learn. Now it's
Mhm.
Splash Math, Splash Learn. So it was my first job, and the only difference I saw was the entire life was changed. Like from a college grad where you don't earn anything, where you're just like some random guy who wants to learn, and who's doing this classes from 9 to 5. But now the things change to 9 to 5, and you're getting paid. So imagine the happiness you get from that journey itself. But the only change was I was working for a night shift. So I started with 4:30 p.m., ended at 2 a.m. in the morning. So it was
Yeah, he was working in the U.S. industry, correct? U.S.
yes, I was working in the US industry for a while,
Okay.
and
Mhm.
this was for 2 years, 2018 to
Mhm.
2020. And I
Mhm.
started with sales assistant sales manager role. So this was more of a sales thing. I was given with a target of somewhere around, I won't disclose that number, but yeah, there was a target, and was supposed to close that. And being very new to sales and very new to the US market, it was so difficult, really. So one thing which I could imagine is I've always had friends, families in the India, but talking to a customer in the US is a whole lot of new experience, because they have a very different lifestyle. They have everything. I don't even know like what their culture is. So it took me time to understand what they are like as a human. uh, I, in fact, saw a few series on Friends, How I Met Your Mother, and there are a few other series which just helps us understand the culture of that Western culture, basically. So I would say it was a amazing experience to know how globe looks like outside India, how things work. And I would say that it's pretty much easier compared to India, the market of the US. People appreciate the value of the product. So if you're selling a particular product or service, people appreciate the value, not the pricing. In India, it is more of a pricing game, right? The person who gives the company who gives the maximum discount wins the game. But that's not the case in the US. It is like upside down. People appreciate the value, and that's why I would say that think companies like Apple, Tesla, all these companies are thriving in the Western countries than India, which will take time for sure. But yeah, we are in that stage.
Mhm. Okay,
You have
so
Tom study pack.
yeah,
You have any questions?
I yeah, actually, I just want to understand, Miss, what are the changes you brought from the US or from the global exposure? What are the changes you have brought in you?
Myself, okay.
Yeah.
I'd say the thought process itself. Earlier, I
Mhm.
was a stereotype guy for sure. I come from a very small village in Rajasthan, which is like 100 years old, and it's 50 years backwards for sure. Uh, so this coming into this corporate life, coming into like going to New Delhi for my career itself made a jump of 25 years. But then working with the US clients made it look like I was really working in the US, not in India, because back then there was no one in the night shift. You won't find anyone in the night shift. Usually that is where most of the corporates would work from 9 to 5, but I was from 5 to 2 a.m. So the personal change it got me is my entire life cycle itself, the way I thought, the way I was living back then. So I think it is important for everyone to just experience how it is, the US market is, because it eventually gives you that confidence to work with not only India market but globally. And this adds up to your resume as well, that yes, you have worked with someone in the US, and not only US, you talk about any Western
Mhm.
countries like Canada and all. But yeah, predominantly, I think US is a good market to start with, and this adds you a lot of value. Personally speaking, it gave me a lot of good communication skills. I was not so good back then, but talking to all those English native people, it gave me that confidence to speak in English as well, and just a normal flow, not making it up. So yeah.
Yeah. So after that, after the Splash Math, you have switched to Udemy. So how means what we can do to go in that market? Okay, you work with the US client, being in India. Okay, so what we can learn and how we can go for that means for the companies. So can you tell me about this?
Okay,
What are
so
the way?
from StudyPad to Udemy, right?
Udemy.
How
Yeah,
was the transition? Is what you're asking.
yeah.
Okay, so it was a very like a unique experience for me itself. Back then in 2019, uh, 2019, yes, 2019 December, I was working with marketing team of StudyPad. So I did 1.5 years of
Sorry,
sales. Am I
you are not audible. Wait, wait.
am I audible now?
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there might be some lag for sure. That's fine. So I was working with StudyPad from 28 to 2019. So it was
Mhm.
almost 1.9 years. And the only difference I could find back then was how a company, how an employee could add value to the overall organization if he has that excitement or if he follows that vision of the company. So vision was important part. So I know a lot of companies are hiring right now. They want a lot of new employees who want to give all their 100%, 200%. But it's impossible if he's not aligned with the vision. So vision of the company is very important, and I would say that that is what drove me to Udemy itself. Back then, when I started, I would say it is the company was just starting. The Udemy they started their office in India. It was 2019, and they were looking for someone who has this capability of always learning. So they wanted someone who could be a learner, a lifelong learner, and who wouldn't stop hardworking for something to consume or grasp the knowledge or something. So I would say the transition itself from StudyPad to Udemy, I was back in office, and I got a call from Udemy guys saying that, hey, we have an opportunity for you. We looked at your LinkedIn profile. So I think LinkedIn profile is super important. You need to maintain a good LinkedIn profile to get the responses. First thing, that's where the gates open. If you don't have a LinkedIn, there's no gate. So imagine
Mhm.
no one's going to connect you. No one's going to know who's Jagveer or Rishabh. So make sure that you have a
Mhm.
good, strong social network, and people could reach out to you from there. I got a reach out from LinkedIn, and it was a pretty short conversation saying, "Okay, this is what the vision is. This is what they're looking for," and okay, I thought this is a perfect match. Let's move forward. There were 6 rounds of interviews. I went from one to one. It was
Okay.
very, it was like the people who took the interview were from Ireland and US and then India. So it was a mixture of all three. Uh, they asked me a lot of questions, but nothing technical. Can you imagine? Like, not at all. Like, very few questions. It was all about how am I as a human being? What kind of core values do I have? What is my vision? What I'm passionate about? Things like those. Unlike, okay, how many quotas were you able to achieve? What are the numbers were you did? Okay, what is the sales? No. So I think that is what I like about the company, where they hire someone on their core values rather than just some numbers on sales. So it is important. and I finally was able to make it to Udemy in a month or so. The interview process went for a month, and it was one hell of an experience. I actually got a chance to. That was my first time. Me and my one of my old friends, Asif. So we got like I got a chance to go to the US, and he was with me, and I was pretty much surprised, saying, "Damn, I got a chance to go to the US for the training purpose, and it was my dream place as well. That to San Francisco." So it was all play, like was in place there. So I'm excited. I'm just thinking how it all went from getting an offer letter to getting rejected in the US visa embassy.
So I just want to learn. Means I would just want to be keen to learn about that. What are the process? What is the process for you? You said that six round of interview are there, correct? So what is the first process? Means what is the first for what kind of questions they have asked to you? Because you said that they didn't go through your numbers, or they didn't ask you about the numbers or about the sales. They asked you about your personality. You said that, correct? So
Yes.
they just want to know that how much keen to learn you are. Just that's it.
Yeah. So no, there were things
On
like
this basis, they have hired you.
there were different people who were actually the hiring. I mentioned, right, there was around 6 to 7 rounds, but the core people who hired, like the people who look for the organization, like employee like me or you, they would like to know how, what kind of person you are, what is your personality, what are your core values. So people at a leadership level, people at a MD, CIO, CTOs level, or VP level would rather look for your personality than the skills. But then there were few people in the entire round who were looking for my sales process as well. But that was not, I would say that yes, anyway, I was able to close my sales numbers, so that is not a big deal for me. So there was few questions asked, like there were few, understandings on what are the how many numbers were you able to do, what is the processes, and let me understand what kind of process do you follow at study, like, which is important. I think it should be known for every process, like every organization, that what are you doing
Yeah,
for you before I hire you, what do you
yeah,
do for this organization. So I think that's important.
yeah. It
Able
is
to
important.
Yes. So they asked me the process. It went well, and I think I was pretty much inclined with what they were looking for. One thing I would say that every individual employer should have when they are starting a new company is an experimental culture. So this is a very important point, I'd say. When Udemy started, or whenever StudyPad was there, as first few employees, not like first, fourth employee, fifth employee in India, APAC, entire Asia Pacific. So, an organization like this would look for a employee who's open to experiment, because they are not sure that if this market will work well or not. They're not sure that how much hard work would they need to put in this efforts which they need to put in. So they want someone who is hardworking, who's experimental, like they have a culture of experiment. So if you can jump into this. If this is not working, you jump into that. Not working, move, move, move. So if an employee is hired from, let's say, a corporate culture, it could impact the way that guy would add value to the organization. So they were not looking for, or no organization at an initial level would look for a person who's already settled, right? Why would they hire someone who's already
Yeah,
settled? Because they
yeah.
need someone who's at an experimental stage. I'm talking about any new organization, not a specific anyone who's starting the new organization in India or any place. They want someone with these qualities, experimenting qualities, like confidence, hardworking, passionate. So that is what works, and I think that is what made me go through that as well. And it was a pleasure. I would say that I got lucky at that point of time, that I got the right person reaching out to me the right time. And
Yeah.
the good part was when she called me up and I asked, "Oh wow, you're hiring for Udemy. You don't have an office in Udemy. Wow, Udemy is huge. What's up?" And she said that I reached out to 700 candidates in India, in New Delhi, Gurgaon. Okay, and out of all, I guess 500 registered for this interview. Okay, I called. 300 people or 200 people who gave me a time, no one was even ready to speak. Few of them were, they didn't had good communication skills. Few of them who didn't even understood what I'm saying. Few of them were not just ready; they were sleeping or something. And I called you up. You were my, I think, 78th candidate. I called you up, and you were like, "Oh, great! This is the guy. I want to hire him." So the HR lady itself made sure that I was supposed to hire, and in the entire process, she kind of helped me out on what questions would be asked, what would be the process, what, just be chill, nothing to worry about. Because she wanted to see me in the organization, and I think that is important. The moment you convince your HR people,
Yeah,
the moment you convince your core teammates, they're going to help you out
yeah.
through the entire process.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. Miss, what are your Miss? You said that you didn't have the good communication. Okay, how did you develop that level of communication which needed by the US based company or UK based companies? So the learning process. What is the learning process for you?
Okay, so frankly speaking, I was like. I was pretty new to this market. I was not into sales, as I mentioned. We both graduated
Mhm.
at the same time.
Yeah,
So it was very important for me to experience and grasp how people learn and communicate with each other in the foreign, not in India, of course. We know about how this country, this side of the world works. So I was able to start this communication with few trainings from StudyPad itself. It was very important that we get to know how to, like the soft skills and all. So we had few training sessions from the organization. We had few trainers coming in, and they were expert in the industry, teaching like high class organizations, corporate MNCs. So they taught me on what kind of jargons do you need to use, what is how should you approach a client, or what should be your proper statement or sentence formation. So I think that in itself made the entire process easier, having few good trainers, and of course the team itself. So imagine people like you, me, in a room of around 10 or 20 people, and talking or having communication, that in itself will improve the overall experience and whatever you are learning. So it is with who you stay and how you learn.
yeah, it is very important. The community is very important for learning, correct?
Exactly.
You didn't mention about the education. How education impacted your life, or is it helpful for you? You came from the engineering background. Did the engineering impacted your current life or your employment? So did that have any impact?
Oh yes, man, for sure. Engineering made me as a person. Engineering made you as a person. Talk about any engineers in the room, they'll be so proud. Oh wow, we have the engineers. So the reason behind that is, it is not that it is helping you, be good at your job, or it is helping you to build your career. No, engineering in itself is something which I've never like. I think that is the best part of the life, because it gave me a solution on, it gave me an understanding of how life, how life could be hard. How should we cater to our problems? How things really don't look like they are. It is very difficult, and I think engineering in itself gave us that uh, pat in the back, saying, "Oh yes, you got to do this, otherwise you're gonna fail." So
Yeah.
it made me as a person a hardworking person, and it gave me all the skills which I required back then. I kind of course, I did mechanical engineering, and what I'm doing right now is nowhere relevant at all. But it's important that how I focused on building my other activities or other skills than just engineering. So of course I did engineering, that was going great, but for the 4 years, I always had something in my plan or something other than engineering which I was doing. This could be applying for a, like, let's say, a driverless car, or talking about go-karting, or talking about a few communication skills or business startup. I was doing something or other in the entire 4 years of journey. I started an YouTube channel as well. I know you were the part of it as well. So it is how you make sure that you utilize that time to not only do what you are given, but more than that. And the same nature which you build in your engineering would help you do in MBA. Get new projects, work on internships, work on different business ideas while your MBA is going on, right? While you're doing all your subjects, while you're giving your exams, you still have something to work for. Could be a business
Yeah.
idea, could be projects, right? And the same nature would help you become a great employee in a corporate life. So what you're given, if you do more than that, right, it adds a value. And this nature which I learned from engineering to MBA and now corporate is is giving me that idea or motivation to not only do what I'm supposed to do. I'm doing more than that. I would always complete my work in that particular time, 9 to 5. Then from 5 to whatever time I'm left with, I'll experiment. I'll learn. I'll do some ideas. I'll do some creative plans with my existing business, like existing job. So this
Yeah.
way, if you compare two employees, someone who is experimenting, who's putting those hard work, he'll be on a like he'll be considered more. I won't say top or low, but he'll be considered more when there's a new project or there's something new decisions which are making
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
So
It is.
this culture would come only when you start from your college days, not suddenly that okay I will want to do at 5 p.m. But like yeah, so this is just my life like story. But if you talk about someone else's, he would imagine just go from 9 to 5 college, right? And he'll waste the entire time doing nothing or just watching movies or whatever. Okay. The same culture or the same habits would fall under MBA. He'll just do MBA for the sake of doing it and getting a job. He'll get the job and he'll just be a 9 to 5 mediocre because that's how he made himself, right? He didn't utilize the time of engineering and college to become a better person. Just be what you are and going with the life, like with the flow. It's good for sure. I wouldn't say it's bad, but that is also a type of personality.
Yeah, it is. What do you think that personality impacted your current career, or means your way of thinking, which you carry? So it is the impact, means it is the thing which impacted on your career, correct? So this is the thing, correct? Okay,
Exactly.
what do you think? Means nowadays the conditions are changing, correct? So the person who is not enough fortune to get the US based client or company, okay, how he can do his career in the good means in the US companies. So how he
Yeah,
he can he can go for that?
yeah. I think it's very crucial how you start your career with. Okay.
Yeah,
So
in the I am asking that how means you have started with this splash plan, correct? So that company was working with the US client. If someone has not that much was not that much fortune to get
yeah.
the US based company or the company who is working in the US, so how he can go means how he can enter in the US market?
Oh, okay, sure. So I think pretty much as I mentioned, like the moment you get out of the college, the first thing you need to do is how you start your career. So you make sure that you don't want jump into some random company because you don't have a job or a pressure from social like society. So you don't want to do that, that you just want you join some random company and you're not happy with it. You just join for the sake of your friends or family pressure and all. So in that condition you might join uh, for a while being, just for a while being a Indian company, that okay let's start करते हैं उसके बाद चेंज कर लेंगे यूएस में मिल जाएगा, बट अभी तो आई नीड अ जॉब, लाइक आई नीड अ जॉब राइट नाउ. So what they'll do is they'll stop wasting time in finding an US company. They'll just join some random Indian company, and in the future they think
Yes,
that
yes.
they'll join for an US company. But it's
Mhm.
very important that how you start your career. Don't fall in this trap of that I'll do this later, I'll find a company later, just let me get going. No. If you graduate right now, look for companies, do your research. There are a lot of companies in the US. Just search US headquartered company in India. or US headquartered, or not only US. Talk about Europe. Europe is a huge market, like wonderful
Yeah,
market. The team culture, the way they work is beautiful. So I think search for uh, startups in Europe who has their offices in India. Just search Google, get all the list of those companies. Now, once you get the list of those companies, go to the LinkedIn section, search for that particular employees, number of employees, what is their product, what they are selling. Scatter down out of 100 companies or 50 companies. Okay, I want to give interviews to these 50 companies who align with my profile. I'm pretty much a fresher. We are hiring fresher. I think we match 50 companies is what I'm looking for. And these 50 companies I'll get from the LinkedIn. Okay, just to again make sure you get the answer. Now, all those 50 companies, I reach out with a different strategy, right? Because I know that they might not be hiring, or they might be hiring but not a fresher, or not, they might not know me directly. They have many other people. How would I be different compared to others, right? So that's where I'll use different strategies to reaching out those HR folks, or whatever, that like hiring lady or hiring guy, or even the tech leaders, whoever I'm working with. Now, this could be, let's say I make a video that, hey, hi, Jagveer, I was going through your profile and it looked crazy. Like, I kind of went through your product, and the overall offering sounds exciting for me. I believe that I've been working for this. I've studied MBA, this. I've done these projects, and I thought I'll be a good fit for your organization. I thought to make a small video out of it. I'm sending you my all the details over here. Just let me know if we can, get on a quick call of 5 minutes and understand if there's a fit between both the visions of what your company is offering and what I have. This time works for me. This is my contact details. Looking forward to hear from you. A minute
okay.
video would do it.
The person who has already started his career in the Indian company,
Same thing.
and you know the culture of Indian company, and it is not good, correct? So I can't say means it is not good, but it is more competitive, as you said that according to the consumer, correct? So companies are there, okay? So companies are like the consumer need, correct? So according to Indian means scenario, the companies are not that much good for the employees point of view, correct? Most of the companies means who are the startups, correct? So you are saying that first someone who has already started his career in the Indian company, he should go on the LinkedIn and search for the company and go on the higher management, correct? And send the 1 minute video, which you are suggesting. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
this
Thank you
is
so much.
one thing I wanted to re-clear there, Jagveer. So
Mhm.
I would say that not all the Indian companies are bad, I'd say. Okay, this is very
Yeah, these
important.
are not, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you got right. So you might want to. There are two things. Do you want to work for a US company, or do you want to work for an Indian company who's dealing with the US customers? Right? So you figure that out. Now, if you want an US company, just want to work for an Indian, just work for their Indian market, right? That is one. If you want to work for a US customers but an Indian startup company, there are a lot of such companies and which are in a good condition. Like, it is a good culture. They have a beautiful way of working style. Like, I think it is a perfect place to be in for sure. There are a lot of such Indian companies. So make sure that you do your research properly. Go to Glassdoor and find the reviews, the whatever, the culture of the company, everything. Then apply for that particular organization, and not just randomly applying for any startup out there. Just make sure that what it is, what are they working on, how old it is, everything. Talk about StudyPad. It is a startup. It is an Indian company, right? Just the customers are
Yeah.
from the US. So the culture which I saw in StudyPad was beautiful. Can't imagine we had like all the facilities available, and the team was next level. The collaboration, everything. So I think that could be a dream company. Doesn't matter if it's an Indian or US, really, or
Yeah.
European. Why we are just
Mhm.
restricting it to the US?
Yeah. So right now, in your words, means the scenario means. I just want to understand that condition are changing, economic condition are changing, correct? And the U.S. market is staggering. You can say that, correct? So, in this scenario, it is very important to have the stable job. Correct. Most of the U.S. companies are firing. Correct. So, in this scenario, how do you think means the one who is applying for the company, he can get selected or means he can get the job in this scenario? Means I
So
just want to understand this.
yeah, sure. So I think it depends actually. So there's always going to be a bad time, no matter when. Talk about now, 2018, 2025, 2030, or 2005, 2008, 2010. Every single year is bad for few companies. Every single year is good for few companies. So it depends upon what company, what market are they working on, what industry are they working on. So if you talk about, like a good industry, like let's say biotech or pharma industry, it is on a boom, and they need salespeople, they need technology people, they need HR folks, they need all the types of employees they could, because they are in a growth stage, right? And these companies would never go loss. They are they're in a growth stage. But if you talk about 5 years down the line, or let's say 5 years before now, 2015 or 16, pharma might not be at that grade compared to what a technology company would be. So
Yeah.
there's a difference and every time for every organization, every industry. So talk about pharma
Mhm.
now. Apply for few industries who are not impacted with, let's say, recession. Like I know, like you search for that particular term, uh, industries which are not going to be impacted with recession in 2022, 2023, which might come. I'm thinking so. 2023 January or February. I think it's already in the US, but it might take
February.
6 months. And yeah, so just look out for that. And while applying for the organization, you need to have those skills. Skills is what people are looking for, not the degrees, not the MBAs, not the IIMs, nothing. No one is now
Yeah.
looking out for your degree or college. They are just, it just gives you a booster to your career when you start from the college, but after that it really doesn't matter. It
Yeah,
all
it is
boils
true.
down
It
to
is true.
what skills do you have. So one thing, if I want to give you as an advice, saying that if you have left the job and you want to join a new company in this time, build your skills,
Yeah.
build as
Okay.
many skills as possible, and if you have those, no companies will resist you, frankly.
Yeah, it is. It is true. It is true. It is very insightful, and I just want to learn how the traveling impacted your career. Means you love to travel, correct?
Mhm.
How
Yeah.
how it impacted on your career?
Oh, thanks, Jagveer. I think that was a beautiful question. I didn't imagine that coming, but you matched it perfectly with my career and my passion. So traveling is my passion. I would say I love traveling. If you see right now on Instagram, I did post about this podcast right now, saying that if you guys can join us. I don't know how many of them joined, and even I don't know I have the access to it. But do you have the access to that?
For what?
How many people joined right now, or in last 30
There are
days?
four people are there. Means we are four people are there. Means one is
Right now?
Hemant, the second is Magic. Some
Okay.
magic is there.
Okay, cool. So yeah, traveling is a perfect like a passion for me. I've been doing this from 2016, from my college days. If you recall, we used to travel from here and there in the weekends. Just reduce the
Yeah.
cost, explore at a budget-friendly hotels or the entire trip. So I'd say I started back then, and how it is impacting my career is how I learned from traveling. So things like meeting new people, right? Building your network. Imagine the moment you explore, expand your horizon. Right now, I'm in this room. I only know the knowledge of this room. The moment I, expand my horizon to this society or this apartment, I'll able to know what this entire society is like, what they learn, what they do, everything. The moment I expand the horizon to this Hyderabad city or this area, and then city, then state, and then country, and then countries, and then the globe, imagine the knowledge I would be able to capture. Uh, it's unexplainable. So I think everything which I've been doing, everything I've learned, could be a life lesson, could be a career lesson. It is from traveling, or it is from the journey which I learned from, you know, like traveling across different places. For an example, I recall I was doing this trek with two of my friends, and it was a 12 kilometers trek. It was a 12 kilometers trek. It was a huge, like a very difficult one. One thing I realized in that particular trip was, a lot of people were trekking. Of course, there are a lot of people going to there. They're all trekking. We are all at the same pace. It is a real time example of how your life looks. Everyone is going, running in a particular direction. They all want to reach top. They all are trekking for the top. They want to go there and settle down, right? They want to go there
Yeah.
and camp their tents and uh, just relax. But for that relaxation, they need to trek for 12 kilometers, right? So this entire 12 kilometers of journey is what your life is. You might want to imagine that when you start the trekking, you might be super excited. I'll do this. I'm pretty sure we'll cover 12 kilometers. It's not a big deal. The moment you reach 5 kilometers, you realize that it's not an easy task. It needs a lot of energy. And then you kind of have few friends to talk with. You have a group, right, where you can have a word. You can speak, enjoy the journey of those 12 kilometers, and not a solo travel. So I've always thought that when I started trekking, if I would have been a solo guy, I would reach the top very quickly because I won't have any disturbance. I'll just focus on the top and I'll run, 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 and I'll reach there. But then I realized that it is not that easy to go 12 kilometers at a one go. I need a support. I need people with me so that I can have communication. I can, be in that surrounding. And this 12 kilometers doesn't look to me like 12 kilometers. That's exactly where I would say that this was one of the examples where, you kind of work hard. Few people could cross. I don't know if you've been to a trek, few people will cross you from the side,
Yeah.
right? Right, they'll go and then after few kilometers or meters, they'll take a stop and then you will cross them. Right? That's how trek happens, and that's exactly how life goes on. Sometimes I might be running fast ahead of someone else's career, but then again I'll take a leisure or something would happen and then some other person would beat me up. So this is an ongoing race. A lot of people you meet in a trek, like, hey, hi, what's up, you meet for 5 minutes, right? Let's say you're running, someone come from the backside and you'll share few stories and all, and then suddenly either you would go friend or even this guy would go friend, but this
Yeah.
guy won't last for the entire 12 kilometers.
Hmm.
And similarly, you will meet a lot of people in a trek, right? So I would say that this is a real time example of how traveling is helping me or helped me in building my career, my life, all my problems, a solution to everything, traveling. So that is it. To reach the top, you work hard, you go there, you meet a lot of people, and then you reach the top. You realize that, wow, what a journey. But then that top is not beautiful compared to that journey itself. And that journey could be beautiful only when you are not solo, or of course for a while you can be solo, but then if you have few people, then you make it more engaging. You make entertainment out of it. You meet a lot of new people, so that journey is important. So now you could be over here or 5 kilometers, 6 years. Imagine your timeline. Do you want, like, life is a trek, a trek of,
Yeah, it is beautiful interpretation which you gave. It is very good. Means the life is like the train.
yeah.
It is, and it is not the simple train. Correct. So, so it is beautiful, and so I think so. You gave us better insights of career, and you make us understand how we can utilize the opportunities. Okay, by the first thing you said that the door should be open, like the LinkedIn profile should be there. It is very important. So thank you so much for being here. Three more people has joined us. One is Hemant, second is Magic, third is N. I don't know who are they.
N.
N. Yeah, N. So
Yeah,
I
so I
don't
think,
know.
no, I think this is good. I'm glad that everyone, whoever was able to join and came
Yeah,
also. Glad.
yeah.
Any
So
questions you can.
Hemant, do you want to add something?
I don't think Hemant is on the call yet. He just left.
Magic, who is Magic?
I don't know.
Okay, I think so. Someone from. Okay, it's okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, Rishabh.
Yeah.
And this helped us a lot. And this will be the lesson for which we got from you. Was thank you so much again. Okay,
Thanks, Jagveer.
so this is the.
I
Huh?
would like to appreciate all the people who joined in, and thanks again from your side for whatever you're doing, whatever you're achieving in your life. All the best, buddy. And as a college friend, just ping me up if you need anything in the future. But yeah, this was one of the best experience in last few months I've had. Great questions, doing great. So again, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Rishabh. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you. Bye bye.
Have a good one, Jagveer. Bye bye. Take care.
Take care. You too.